Hello.
No. Shane, we need to hear from you.
What's that?
Testing.
I think it's working.
Have to check off all these little check boxes. Yeah,
Look behind you.
all probably because I moved it.
Oh, there you go. You're good.
It's so finicky.
Hopefully we have audio this time.
That's why I was,
Oh, is that why?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's where I was like, let's see if
all
we
these
have-
little check boxes that we now have to check off that,
is there extras now?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, my mental check box of make sure this is working, make sure that's working.
Yeah.
It's so finicky.
The Evansville Town Council meeting for April 13th, 2026 is now called to order. Janelle?
Mayor Ernie Blackford,
Here.
Councilmember Deja Edwards,
Here?
Councilmember Brad Lustig,
Here.
Councilmember Alana Vino.
Here.
Councilmember Chad Edwards has to be excused tonight. Town Attorney Scott Porter,
Right here.
or Murray, I'm looking beyond.
Yeah, here you go.
Town Engineer Shane Porter.
Here.
Town Treasurer Lexi Erickson.
Here.
Chief of Police Mike Thompson has to be excused tonight. Fire Chief Mark Cornett.
Here.
Public Works Director Dan Corson.
Here.
Town Clerk Janelle Underwood and rest of citizens.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion for the approval of agenda?
I move.
A second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, under consent of agenda, we have 3 items. Approval of minutes of regular meeting, March 23rd, 2026. Approval of business license, Headland Electric and United Gravel. And approval of bills. Do I have a motion?
I motion?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We will now open it up to public comments. Are there any public comments? Okay, you have 5 minutes.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council and staff, my name is Fred Rogie. Tonight I am coming to the town council with 2 requests. One is to include the department heads at the staff table, and the second request is to modify the agenda items on the town council agendas. I adamantly believe that effective communication is paramount and a key component to the successful outcome and functionality of everything. In-person attendance at our town council meetings is not a very large number usually, unless there is a hot topic issue before the council. However, the number of viewers who watch the live stream of the meetings is significant. Since the first of the year, there has been an average of 59 views per council meeting, including a minimum number of 35 views and a maximum of 81 views. In 2025, there was an average of 182 views per council meeting, with the highest number of views being 1,032. On average, since 2023, there have been 82 views per council meeting. My point of these numbers is that there are a lot more residents that are interested in knowing about what happens at a town council meeting than meets the eye. My first request is for the department heads to be seated at the table along with the town engineer. Chief Thompson is seated at the table with the town attorney and the town clerk. I think it would be conducive to the council meetings if the fire chief, the public works director, and the town treasurer were to be seated at the table with the town engineer. I think this is important to the town's department heads of visibility during the council meetings, rather than being in the background and sitting at the back of the council chambers, creating an out of sight, out of mind atmosphere. My second request would be to include an agenda item for the council and staff updates and insert it prior to the public comments agenda item on all of the future council agendas. Placing it ahead of the public comments item would allow the residents in the audience an opportunity to comment on the council's and staff's reports. It is important for the residents of Evansville to be aware of each member of the town council's projects and activities that they have been recently engaged in for the benefit of the town. Councilwoman Vino's presentation tonight on the town's community garden is a prime example of this. During the March 9th council meeting, the town engineer updated everyone on the fiber optic project that is being installed by Visionary in town. The engineer's update was very helpful and informative to the residents of Evansville, especially in light of so many people posting on social media about their concerns of the yards being torn up. I appreciate how busy the department heads are on a daily basis with their daily activities, including maintenance of equipment, testing, and training. They can often be pressed for time to accomplish their tasks and requirements. Even so, I think it would only take about 5 minutes for each department head to draft an informal list of their recent or major activities since the previous council meeting. A brief report from the department heads would help the public to be more aware of the efforts and the hard work that these departments do for our town. I think it would be in the town's best interest if the department heads were to be relocated to the front of the council chamber. I also think it would be an improvement to the town's overall image if one of the council members would make a motion to include a council and staff's updates item on all future council agendas. Thank you for your time and consideration of my 2 suggestions.
Thank you. We'll take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Are there any more public comments?
How's it going, council? My name is Jeremy Brown, 615 Toll Street. It's been a while since I've been here, but like Fred was saying, I do watch meetings on YouTube just to kind of keep myself involved with what's going on. I noticed at your guys' last meeting, you guys were talking about like water restrictions and something on the effect like, we're gonna be purchasing more water, that kind of stuff. With that being said, I don't think that whatever is on your agenda item for tonight, Councilwoman Vino, with the community garden, I know I've been a huge proponent against the garden, and I'm not a fan of it. We need to take into consideration how many people are participating, how much it's costing. When I spoke to Councilman Edwards about it a couple meetings ago, actually it was a while ago, from my understanding, it was all supposed to be on donations, and that's how it's supposed to be operating. If it's on donations, I don't have any issues with that because, there's other things that we could be allocating our money towards, whether it be parks, the town hall building, police officers, that kind of stuff. Because I know that we did lose a police officer due to going to ICE. And I just think that we need to kind of allocate our money better on that aspect. And yeah, that's really all I got. You guys have been doing a great job. I think things have really turned around since November 1st, and I think you guys are doing a great job. So that's all I got. So.
Well, thank you. I'll just throw in a little interjection in follow up on that. What we've done is they sent out just a reminder to the residents of Evansville to be conscious of water conservation at this time. At this time, it's totally voluntary, and we hope to keep it that way. But if we have to put restrictions out, we will have to look at that, because I think we're in for a pretty dry summertime. So hopefully, if everybody does voluntarily what they need to do, we won't have to go to restrictions. That's what we're looking for. Thank you. All right, any more public comments?
Good evening, members of the council, mayor. I'm Ryan Perry. I'm here to discuss the community garden, but I want to begin by saying clearly that I do support this idea. A community garden has the potential to be a meaningful asset, bringing neighbors together, encouraging local food production. That said, support for the concept does not mean we should move forward without careful planning and clear safeguards. As we brought up during the last meeting, the very real concern with water and it's being limited and the costs continue to rise. This is not a minor detail. It's a long-term obligation that needs to be addressed up front. If this project is going to succeed in a way that is fair to everyone, then we must ensure that taxpayers are not left on the hook for ongoing expenses. Too often, well-intentioned projects begin with enthusiasm, but end up creating unforeseen financial responsibilities for the city and its residents. We should learn from that and put the right structure in place from the beginning. First, I believe the garden should be operated and managed by a third-party group or a nonprofit organization. This creates a layer of accountability and ensures that the day-to-day responsibilities do not fall on the city staff or city resources. A dedicated organization is also more likely to bring passion, volunteer coordination, and fundraising capabilities that the city should not be expected to provide. Second, all funding for the garden should come from outside sources, whether that's donations, grants, sponsorships, or community fundraising. This includes not just the initial setup, but also ongoing maintenance, improvements, and operational costs. A community meeting to discuss and vote what will be planted. If the community truly values this project, there will be support to sustain it without relying on taxpayer dollars. I also encourage the council to consider accountability measures. For example, there could be periodic reviews or agreements to ensure the garden continues to meet its obligations. If those conditions are not met, there should be a clear path to reevaluate or discontinue the arrangement. This isn't about being negative. It's about being responsible stewards of public resources. At the end of the day, I believe this project can be a success. It can strengthen the community and provide real benefits, but success depends on doing it in the right way from the very beginning, with clear expectations, responsible management, and protections for taxpayers. We all want to see good ideas thrive, but let's make sure we build this one on a foundation that is fair, sustainable, and accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Are there any more public comments?
Phil Gerke, and I live on Eagle Trail. I wasn't planning on coming up here, but I thought I'd make a couple of remarks. I do agree with what Fred's saying. I don't know about sitting in everybody, all the department heads up here at the table, so I don't know if there's enough room for that, but I think it would be a great idea if they gave some kind of a report of what they're working on. And I also think, to add to that, I think it would be nice if some of the council members reported on things that they're working on. So hopefully they're not just attending meetings and letting the rest of the time go. As far as the water restrictions, We've got at least 5 people on our street that are doing a really good job because all they got spare dirt, so they won't be watering. So that should help a lot. As far as the community garden goes, I don't know. It bears some discussion. And I'm kind of curious on how much we spend on it and what it's used for. And it may be cheaper to just buy the fruits and vegetables and give them away. I don't know. I'm not, up to par on that, but that's pretty much where I'm coming from. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more public comments? If there are no more public comments are closed. Next item up will be Melissa Bilby with Hub International. Please step forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm here tonight just to discuss the benefit package that the town of Evansville provides for their employees and the renewal process. We've been through the renewal process, the marketing analysis, and I provided some reports tonight. I know you got them late this afternoon. Just like to touch on kind of where we're at. You're on a partially self-funded plan currently through Cigna. The plan performed very well this year, which is probably the first time I've gotten to get up here and actually say that. So with that said, you're running at a surplus currently around $35,000 to $40,000 in your claims fund, which means claims are down. We were at 109% loss ratio last year at this time. We are at 62.5% in the claims fund this year. So that is accruing some surplus for the town. So, and then we also pay a cost just to actually have the insurance administered by Cigna and utilize their network, which is running around $192,000 a year. So currently in your plan this last year in a rolling 12 months, so not just this year, but we have captured 32 employees, 61 dependents on your plan with an average employee age of 44.8.
And where are you at on your stuff so I
She's
can
right here.
follow along with you?
Right here at the beginning.
Okay, so we're just,
Sorry.
you're fine.
Yeah, I just started at the beginning so that we could kind of go through how the plan's running, and then we'll talk about the renewal process. Okay. The per employee per month claim spend just for claims was $500.22, which equated to a 31.5% decrease from last year at this time. Last 12 months, 3 individuals exceeded the 25 specific deductible amount, which is the large claim deductible that comes out of your claims fund that's capped. Through total medical and RX claims for the last 12 months, you've averaged $323,292 in spend. While claims have went down considerably this year, the claims costs have actually risen on what we pay out. So an average office visit is 40.9% higher this year than it was last year. So that just equates to trend and inflation that we're seeing in our communities today that is affecting all of us when we're looking at budgets. Emergency room utilization was decreased by 20% this year, and surgery costs decreased 32%. Network utilization, the Cigna network, you're maintaining at 95.9% in network claims. So the total large claims that we're seeing drug costs rise. Just trend increase on drugs this year is 11.8% in our region. So if you have the same drugs that you had last year, the cost of those drugs are 11.8% this year. So we have the top 3 drugs, which these seem expensive because it's a per month cost, $1,027 for one drug per month, $945 for one drug, and $609. These actually are average drug cost today. So these are not high scripts, but they are your top 3 larger scripts. We are used to seeing $48,000 scripts a month. So So when I talk large scripts, these are very minimal compared to large scripts. Hot topics in the industry today, RX weight loss drugs, GLP-1s, normally not covered by medical plans. We are seeing a decreased cost with some of the Trump RX and some of the legislation there. The cost of those drugs have come down. Not hardly any plans, probably less than 2% of plans are covering them. Your plan doesn't currently cover them unless it's for diabetes, a diagnosis. Gene therapy drugs, also we're seeing hit the market well over $1 million to $4 million a script. The one nice thing about Cigna is they offer a protection and they outsource that drug. It never hits your claims account if one of those gene therapies come in. So there's an added protection with being with Cigna on gene therapy drugs. Okay. We did go through a market analysis. We went to all of the carriers in the market this year. Several of these carriers will not write municipalities, so that limits. We did list them. So Associated Employers, they do write municipalities, but they cannot compete against Cigna because they have a contract with Cigna. So because of that, we are unable to obtain a quote from them. American Trust does not write municipalities. Blue Cross can only quote if we quote through WHAM, which is where you were before we actually went with Cigna. WHAM does require full health applications to do an underwriting and to release us a quote. So we did not go through the underwriting process with WHAM this year. We did obtain one quote. It was not firm or underwritten, 7% below your current rates, and that was through Trustmark. And they would require health applications to go through health underwriting to be approved. We have 12% higher on an underwritten quote through United Healthcare on their fully insured plan. It's 12% higher than your current rates. And then United Healthcare level funded did go through underwriting process, but they declined due to health risk and municipality. So Triad is a new carrier in our state that is level funded. They were 7% below your current rates. It was not firm without applications, and it is a fully insured type program. So if you did have a surplus, they keep the surplus on a fully insured plan. Okay. Optimal decline due to health risk. So those were all the plans we marketed. We did include the spreadsheet showing you the outcome of the marketing process. So to give you an idea, currently with Cigna, same plan design, same benefits came in. Your initial renewal was 12% with them. We were able to go back and negotiate some rate relief down to a 9% renewal for this year. Okay. So, and that's an average of both of the plan designs you offer today. United Healthcare came in at 12% underwritten on a fully insured plan. Those were age-banded rates, which means everybody's rate would be different based off of the age category you fall in. So those were the initial. You also have a second page that has the other two options on it from Trustmark. These both are not firm. We would have to fill out applications to firm either of these offers that were 7% below. They also, some of these, the Triad option has higher out-of-pockets on them than what you currently have on your plan. Also changes the first plan that you have a $750 deductible on up to a $1,000 deductible on that plan, because we kind of have to choose the plan designs that they have available. So a little less benefits on that particular program. Okay. So then we thought, well, let's go back to Cigna and let's see what options they could offer us and plan design adjustments. What happens with a level funded plan, because you are self-funding up to a $25,000 specific deductible already, minor changes to your plan design as far as what the employees pay doesn't make a big difference on your rate, because you're already self-funding up to a large deductible in that claims fund. So with the request to look at a $1,000 deductible on option 3 versus your renewal appeal, it didn't even move the needle to change the deductible to $1,000 from $750 or from $2,250 on out-of-pocket to $3,000. it ultimately was pennies. It shifted the cost, so it shifted that cost, but it didn't make a difference in your overall cost at the end of the day. So talking to the mayor and Janelle and Chad, we actually were looking at just the renewal on the appeal basis. If you take your surplus, which that surplus is paid back to, that is a city, that comes back to the town. That is the town's surplus that they've built through the claims fund, comes back to you on the 4th month after you renew. So if you apply that monthly to the overall 9% increase, it actually takes $2,900 down each month, and it estimates your renewal then to a 2.8% overall increase by reapplying that surplus to your premiums monthly. So it was able to take that surplus. That's what a level funded is designed to do, is for when you have a good year, is to help offset that renewal for the next year. Okay. So if we went with a renewal appeal, which would be my recommendation, is at 2.8% is what it will end up being with your estimated surplus. Now that surplus could be higher by the time the end of this month rolls around. We just don't know what claims are this month yet. Okay. So that takes us to the ancillary lines of coverage. The dental renewal, we did actually sustain a pretty substantial dental renewal this year from Delta Dental, a 30% increase. We did go to market to Beam and Emeritus. And with those two options, there was just a slight adjustment if we went to Beam, but you also increased your deductible on your family from $100 to $150 on that plan. But it was almost within about $140 to make that change a month. With that change in benefit, we felt that the Delta Dental renewal is actually probably our better options. One of the things Delta Dental likes to tell you is we give you passes when we have good years. They like to remind us of, you didn't get an increase, you didn't get an increase, you didn't increase. For several years, Delta Dental did that. Even during COVID, they have held their rates. But they also pass along when they have a bad year. So that is basically what they would tell you if they were standing here, because that's what they tell us. So that was a little bit more significant increase. We had a slight increase of 4% approximately on the VSP, which equates to about 28 cents per employee increase monthly. We did quote 2 other carriers, which actually were higher cost to make that move. So our recommendation would be to stay with the VSP carrier. We did negotiate no increase on the life and AD&D in your voluntary, and negotiated a rate pass until May 1 of 2028 for the town on those benefits. So we did look at the benefit though, because we benchmark your plan through Rocky Mountain region, national averages, and municipalities. Currently, you offer a $10,000 life and accidental death and dismemberment for your employees, which is much lower than what the national average and the regional average are doing today. So we did recommend an increase in the life and accidental death dismemberment benefit to at least $25,000. It's a minimal increase of $315 annually to go from $10,000 per employee to $25,000. And it's very hard to have a funeral service that's $10,000 today. So it's just a recommendation for your council to decide whether or not you want to make that move. It's a minimal amount to actually pay to insure your employees in the event something happens. And it increases it from $10,000 to $25,000 for them. If you were to look at the $50,000, we did run that, but I think we were more comfortable because it's about $1,200 or $1,800 more a year for that option. So we felt like the $25,000 would be that recommendation tonight. Okay. Cobra admin didn't change. We are recommending an increase on our consulting fees this year. And so I believe we're at $6,500 and we are looking to move those to $8,000 for the next year. Okay. We also included the comparisons on the vision and the dental for your review. And then we included the life insurance that we marketed. If we stay with the 10,000, there's no change in your rate. If we move to the 25,000, it's an additional $315 annually. It would be with the same carrier through standard. So, any questions on these? I know it's a lot of information really quick, but before we jump into contributions on what the town would pay and what the employees would contribute. Get ready to do that? Okay, let's do it. I did include what you're currently doing right now on the $750 plan, deductible plan. The employees are paying 10% and you're picking up 90% of the employee-only premium. And then they are paying the remainder part of the dependent cost. So on the $2,000 deductible, you're paying 100% of the employee premium. And currently, 47% of the dependent cost for employee spouse, 70% for employee and children, and 40% of the dependent cost. A couple of years ago, when we decided to offer the two different plans, and then last year, we took the 10%, we shifted that cost to help pay towards dependent costs of the $2,000 deductible plan so that families had a more affordable option to add their dependents to the plan. So to continue that, I did the option with the new rates for 2026. Okay. So with that 9% increase, and these don't take into consideration that surplus because that is the town surplus, but we decided if you leave it the same way, it's a pretty significant change. So we did think that our best option was to possibly go to 83% for the $750 for you to pick up 83% instead of 90. So reduce that by 7% because a $750 deductible and a $2,250 out of pocket is unheard of really in our market today. It's a very rich plan. So to have that plan, it costs more. So ultimately we took that 7% and we applied it down again to the dependent cost on the $2,000 deductible to help offset that increase for them. So still keeping it 100% for employee on the $2,000 deductible plan, but applying that 7% down to the dependent cost, similar to what we did last year. So it does, reduce like the dependent cost by $1,609 because there's automatic increase just with the rates. So it does do a slight decrease for them to continue to kind of keep that rate the same. And it does also help offset some of the overall increase and keep the town's portion the same with the increase. I did simplify it on the next page and do the totals for you. So if we do the recommendation of the 7% increase on the traditional plan and shift the 7% to dependent care on the high deductible plan, the annual impact, current impact to participants on the traditional plan, $750 deductible, is an additional $22,820 annually. So their rate would go from $136.14 monthly to $253.35. And the increase on the town would be $1,822.18 annually. So again, taking that same 7%, still paying 100% for employee-only coverage on the high deductible plan, increase to continue to pay that. The town's going to pick up another $15,470 on that annually. Increasing the employer contribution by 7% for dependent costs, you're going to pick up, the town would pick up $19,320. So, but it does decrease the employee dependent cost by $1,609 on that plan. So the impact to the town of Evansville for that is $33,612 $1,258.87 annually with the current enrollment. Impact to employees is $21,210. Okay. Concerns, discussion around the different options on contributions. We talked about going to 20% or 25% on the $750 deductible. 20 to 25% is usually the contribution on a lower deductible plan on average. But we felt like that was too much cost to shift on that program. So we kind of settled at the 83%. But that's totally up to you. And you can let me know what your thoughts are. Questions for me? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for having me. We do start open enrollment on Thursday this week, so we will need the contributions by Wednesday at the latest if we want to put them in our enrollment platform. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So you'll need a decision tonight.
Yes, please. So,
You'll need a decision on that, and then if we want to change on the life insurance.
yes,
Yes.
those are the two decisions. Okay. All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Where do we go from here?
Do you guys want to make a decision tonight on which plan you want to pick for the health insurance? Do you want to do the 2026 renewal with the 90% employee? The employee picks up 10%, or do you want to do the second 2026 renewal where the town would pick up 83% of the employee on the choice plan, the $750 deductible? It's the last long page. Wrong way. Any questions?
Well, what do you all think?
I for one would like to try to keep it, the same and do the 90% and not drop it down and put it on our employees. And I'd like to see us raise our life insurance policy at least up to that $25,000. I mean, I really think keeping the employees, I mean, everybody's got a family, everybody likes to have good insurance, and when the town is, the more cost that the town covers is always better. I know I personally look into that when we're looking at insurances every year and how much the businesses will cover, and I think it's important that we cover our employees. And I'd like to see us bump it up to at least the 25,000.
I can concur with the life insurance.
I also concur the life insurance after just having my mom pass, so the 25 definitely I think is great compared to what I just paid out of pocket, so.
Daisha, I don't want to be, is 25, I have not had to bury a loved one as an adult and really knowing the expense. Is 25 enough, or do we need to go higher?
25, that's 25, if I had, 25 would have been great. It wasn't that for me, but I think 25 is.
I know that's a very personal question.
No,
and
you're
that's where I
fine. No,
was
you're
curious.
fine. I think the 25 is definitely great, and I stand behind that at 1,000%.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
I also agree on the 25,000 for the lights, so.
Okay, so we're in agreement with that.
So do we have a motion made?
So I will,
please?
okay, well, I'll start with the motion on the life insurance. I will make a motion to bump it up to that 25,000 for the life insurance.
And I'll second it on the life insurance.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to bump the life insurance to 25,000 with a cost to the town, my understanding, of an additional $315
Annually.
annually, correct? Okay. So I have a motion and a second. Any more discussions on that one? No discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So then the only other thing that we would need to know is if you want to go with the first 2026 renewal with the employee contribution of 10% in the town, picking up the 90% on the lower deduction plan and 100% on the employee for the $2,000 deductible plan, or if you want the second 2026 renewal option, which would be 83% of the town picking up the employee on the $750 deductible plan and the employee picking up 17%.
I think we should pick up 90.
Do you want to make a motion to that?
I will make a motion that we pick up the more and pick up 90%.
Okay, we have a motion for the 90%. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the 90%. Any more discussion?
What are your guys' thoughts?
Can you tell me what the difference is again?
So on the first 2026 renewal,
Correct, I'm there.
the town would pick up 90% of the employee's cost, and then the employee picks up all their dependent coverage.
Okay.
Along with 10%. If they pick the base plan, which is the $2,000 deductible, the town picks up 100% of the employee cost, and then the employee picks up the dependent coverage. If you go with the second 2026 renewal option, the employee would pick up 17% of the choice plan or the $750 deductible, the town would pick up the other 83% and then the employee would pick up 100% of their dependents. And then under the base plan with the $2,000 deductible, the town would pick up 100% of the employee's cost and then the employee would pick up 100% of their dependent coverage. Currently, we are on the plan that the town's picking up 90% of the employee cost, and then the employee's picking up 10% of that for the $750 deductible plus their dependent coverage.
Okay,
Did that make sense?
yeah,
Okay.
that was better. So on that one, I'm weighing in kind of with Alana. I think that we should cover as much as we can for the employee as well. I mean, I think I'm agreeing. So I'll second Alana.
I've already got
Oh,
a motion and a second.
It's okay.
It's just up for discussion.
okay.
I just wanted to know your guys' opinions on it.
I like the first 2026 renewal. It's a $12,000 difference between employer and employee costs. It can right across the board there, and yeah, it's I think that'd be the best option for the town.
You're looking at this one right here, right?
Correct. Yeah, the middle.
Okay. Well, that's one we have a motion on, right?
We've got a motion and a second, just for discussion, I do believe.
Just vote.
Any more discussion? And I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Anything else? Is there anything else?
Just the dental and vision, if we want
Oh.
to accept the dental and vision.
Hon, can you,
The dental and vision, if you want to accept that. And that would be continuing with the same carrier under the renewal. That was the one that took an increase for the employees from $28.85 a month to $37.50. Correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that is a voluntary benefit, so the employees are paying for that benefit now, but it will increase what they're paying.
You said that increase was from currently 20,
So it goes from $28.25 for single to $37.50 for single. So it's significant, mostly on dependents. Employee plus one, $71.80 to $93.35, and families, $116.10 to $150.95 monthly. But the other carriers, there was only one that was a little less on employee only, and employee plus one, but the family was higher, and they had a higher family deductible on that one. We were talking about $100 and say $36 a month difference if we made a change to the overall premium.
so do I have a motion on the dental?
I'll motion
Okay,
For the,
for the dental, for the different, to do it, with 30% increase, correct?
With Delta Dental,
Right.
yes.
the renewal of Delta.
just the
Dental.
renewal?
Mhm.
Okay. So I didn't know if you were, which one you were kind of going with.
so increase that roughly by $9.
Yes, sir.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for the dental. Is there any more discussion on that? There's no more discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
So,
And the vision,
Vision.
yeah,
oh, yes,
yeah, the vision.
division.
Yeah, 4% increase, 28 cents per employee increase a month to stay with VSP.
That's not bad.
I know ours is more.
We didn't have an option for a better price on that, so.
So I'll make that motion on the vision.
Okay, I have a motion on the vision. Do I have a second?
I second.
You're, for the renewal?
Mhm.
Correct, okay, just want to double check.
I have a motion and a second for renewal on the vision. Any discussion, any more discussion on that? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Carried.
Okay, the only other thing is if you want to keep me.
Is it what?
If you want me to continue to be your consultant on your plan, you do get to vote on that.
Oh.
So, and if you'd like me to leave the room, I can. So, but that is your decision. Something you'll have to decide.
Of course.
I'm fine with it.
Do we need to vote on this?
You want to vote on it?
Might as well.
Yeah, because remember
I'll
there's,
just
and there'll
do all
be the
the-
increase
Yeah.
with their services too, to 8,000 from 6,500, correct?
I think it was
Yes.
7.
Was it 7?
Yeah,
Okay,
last year.
okay. It's from 7. See, I didn't even know. I just knew that I was supposed to make it.
So
It's $1,000 more.
I guess, do I have a motion to retain Melissa?
I move.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and second. Any discussions?
I would love to. Thank you.
I will say Melissa is very knowledgeable, very helpful,
She's very supportive.
very supportive. There's a lot that goes into this, and there's days I feel like I'm still struggling wrapping my head around it. It's a lot, and it's changing.
Let's put it this way, I would not want your job.
I'm not sure I do some days. No, I do love what I do. It's just always in it. I don't get to give good news very often, so.
Could you kind of touch base with them about kind of what the average of the plans
Yes.
are?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did benchmark. So averages in our region today for deductibles, actually in Wyoming, if you look at the exchange, you know this, but they went to 10,600 for an individual single deduct out of pocket this year. That is what a single individual is paying out of pocket, and times 2 for family. So over 21 grand for your families out of pocket if you are on the exchange program, which is not affordable. Sorry, but that's my opinion. It's not affordable for the majority of us in the United States. And so in the event that you look at our industry and what's happening, we obviously are seeing cost of prescriptions, like 93.4% of your costs this year were just scripts. And they weren't even expensive scripts. So, if you have an expensive script, MS medication, that's going to run $43,000 a month. If you have Crohn's disease, I can speak to this, it can be $180,000 a year for a script. So those are the type of scripts we're seeing hit the market, and it's quite devastating. So something's got to change in that, because smaller groups in Wyoming can't sustain something like that. So we think, we'll just put everybody on one plan. Well, that's been discussed in the state of Wyoming, actually, and starting with some school districts, municipalities, and things like that, and grouping everything together. Well, we still have sick people within that pool, And if you put them all together and it's fully self-funded and not even with protections, that skyrockets our taxes, which you guys know how that works because obviously you're going through some of your budgets and stuff today and right now. So it's impacting all of us. I wished I knew the answer because I would fly right to Washington and tell them today, but I don't. But I do know how to help try to control those. We have programs like the gene therapy programs that Cigna offer that we include in your package to protect you against $1 million scripts. We also have outsourcing coupon programs. We have a pharmacy benefit management program that will take and see if we can actually buy that from a manufacturer at a cheaper rate if your actually plan is impacted. So those are the type of tools we are trying to engage in to keep control over the medical cost. What they're doing today, we'll see trickle down, but it's going to be years to come, so hopefully some of those have answers. Our region is probably one of the highest in the nation for healthcare, our state. I don't know if y'all remember when ACA came out, we made CNN News for the highest rates on the exchange. That hasn't changed. We still are the highest rates on the exchange today. So I don't know the answer, but I know all we can do is try to help maintain it, look at markets, see what's out there, how to control these costs. We talk to your employees during meetings about shop your scripts, shop where you get them. It matters where you go just in town. From across the street to across the street, the cost is different. And we try to give them the tools to do that. So that's kind of what we're trying to do to manage your plan. And hopefully the education trickle downs, and don't use the ER unless it's emergency, because that's the highest cost you could pay. So we monitor all of that in the reporting every year and try to educate your employees. So we'll continue to do that, and thank you. I look forward to working with you next year. Okay.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Thanks
I'll
again, Melissa.
see you on Thursday.
Once again,
Thank you.
we have a motion
Thank you.
on the floor. In a second.
Oh, that's right.
We're
We're
just
excited
gonna-
to keep me. and
to
see
retain
what's happening.
Hub
International.
I was saying, suggest.
We didn't vote.
Sorry.
Oh,
First and second.
I thought we voted.
No, we didn't. So I call for the vote. All those in favor in
Yes,
retaining Melissa,
Aye.
yes, I
opposed? Motion passed.
We did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard again.
Thank you.
Okay. Onwards and upwards.
Okay. There we go. Water.
We're down to item number 4.
Mr. Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is Amendment 2 to the contract between the Wyoming Water Development Office and the town of Evansville. This amendment number 2 is an amendment to amendment number 1, and then the original agreement between the town and the Wyoming Water Development Office for the purchase of the Pathfinder water or readiness to serve water that we have set aside. This amendment number 2 is allowing or authorizing for the town to increase that stored water from 300 acre feet annually to 500 acre feet. And it's brought before you tonight for approval for the mayor to execute.
So do I have a motion?
A motion?
I second.
I have a motion and a second to execute the water amendment 2. There any more discussion?
I have a question for Janelle.
Yeah.
In the last one, when we talked about it, was that just a talk about putting the filler out there to get it? I thought we did that the last meeting.
It was authorization to move forward,
Oh, okay,
submitting a letter to the Water Development
okay,
Commission.
thank you.
And this is to actually,
Right, to do it,
This is
Sign
the
the
actual
paperwork to do
agreement.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
okay, any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, the next item up to discussion, number 5, community garden discussion. I'm gonna turn this over to Alana for the moment.
Yeah, so I mean, really, why I wanted to bring this up in general with the community garden, and it really should be community garden water discussion, because we are dealing with the,
Sorry.
that's all right. It's one of those that, with our lack of water and really as a town trying to tighten our belts, I found that it was one of those like, if we are asking our residents to tighten their belts, I believe that we should also tighten our own. And I really feel that, yes, we do get people that come through and enjoy the garden, but we really don't get our big, massive lot of people towards fall. But really, we are watering all summer long. We're keeping it going. Obviously, we have to keep it going in order for it to grow. But I personally am one of those people that we need to put our water where it's more utilized and where more people are frequenting and playing and doing. And I would rather see us use our water at our parks. I mean, yes, our community garden, really, we water it twice a day for 15 minutes. We're not using up that much water, but I truly think that keeping our water costs down or using as less is better right now with, I'm worried about our water. I mean, we haven't gotten any hardly at all. And I mean, I know I personally, and I am going to create my own personal garden this year, but it's definitely we use that to sustain our family. I grow it, we eat it. The stuff down there, it's not completely sustaining families. It's something that people can go down there and nice and pick, but it's not sustaining an entire family by any means. So I wanted to have that discussion of just, if we're tightening our belts, I think that is one spot that we could really look at and just potentially not even doing this summer, just because of, we've never had this issue with water. This has never been a thing, I don't think, ever in Evansville. I know that we don't have anything on our books that actually say, hey, you absolutely can't do this. We have no actual ordinances on our books. We're just asking people to be diligent with their water. But we haven't ever been in this position before. And I truly think that this is something that where we can tighten our belts a little bit. And this is one of our projects that can. I know this is a project that is near and dear to my heart. But at the same time, I mean, it does use water, and I could see us using water in a more effective way that more people are going to use. So that's why it was more of I wanted to have that discussion.
Well, I have not personally been involved in any of that community garden,
Yeah.
but
So
it being a community garden, are the community members actually the ones that's doing all the work and all the prep work and the watering and everything?
So the water is automatic. It comes on at like 8 in the morning and then at 8 at night, or 7 in the morning and 8 at night. And it comes on for 15 minutes. All the prep work and the beds and everything else, I, as a community member, not as a council person, have done for years. I've done the planning, I've done the getting of the seeds, amending the dirt, and like I've done all of that. Unfortunately, last year we definitely did not have a turnout by any means for planting of the seeds and turning the soil. Might have been because it was so early. But we definitely still, it's one of those, when it comes to planting the seeds and turning the soil and picking the weeds and all of that normal stuff, our community, our public works, they're not out there pulling weeds. They're not doing that kind of stuff. I'm the one that's doing that. That's never been something on our public works. The only thing that our public works does is like they weed eat around the beds or like around in the fence area. But that's definitely not ever been in their what they do. That's just kind of been the community involvement, but kind of I've been doing it. And unfortunately, it's one of those that this will be the 5th year. And when it was brought to me as a community project. And unfortunately, this has turned into my project. And I've been working on it and doing it. And it's actually come to the point of that it's taken up so much of my time that I need to back off and not be the head gardener and doing that anymore. I'd like the community of more people. I mean, we're not at planting season yet, so it's not like we're gonna miss out on anything. But taking it over, because there's hundreds of people that come through that garden when it is picking season. And when I post, there'll be hundreds of people through that garden. But there is minuscule people that come throughout and to be there to show up to help. So I would definitely like to see the community take more of an active role in that garden and not just me having to do it. And so I'm going to step back on being head gardener of it and doing it, and hopefully have the community step up and take that on.
Well, if it's a community project, then
Yeah. And so
that speaks for itself.
I
And
mean,
if you've been doing all the work, that's not the community.
well,
So I guess we
I
need to
bas-
throw it out to the community and find out how many members of the community is willing to step forward and proceed with it.
and so
But if that happens, as a town, we're not gonna get involved. The only way we're gonna get involved, the way I see it, is to put some kind of controls on the watering of the garden. Because
well, and that's why I
like
just
Alana
wanted,
said, we as a town are gonna have to lead on this water conservation.
right, well, and that's where I really wanted to bring it up. Yes, I mean, there's kind of two factors of, we really should be, as the gardener that's doing it, I feel like, but as a city council, of tightening our belts, and this is definitely one thing that we could just not do and try to even tighten it down even more. I know I've talked to Dan about it, and he was just like, well, you guys, I mean, it is only 15 minutes of water, that it's twice a day. I mean, it's pretty average that you'd be watering in general. But to me, it's one of those that we are tightening the belt, so to speak, and I think that is one of those projects I'd rather see the park watered a little bit more than the garden, because truly, there's way more kids that play at the park or even right over here than there are that play in that garden. So that's where,
Does the water come out of the treatment plant?
yeah,
Or is it river water?
no, everything goes, like,
treated?
everything is like, it's the drinking water, just like you would get out of your own hose. It comes, it's there.
Why can't we drill a well? We're close enough to the river, should be a water table. Then you don't have to treat the water, you can save the treated water for drinking water and then use that to water the lawn / garden down there. I don't know, I've just always wondered if it's treated or not. That's expensive water to
Right.
just throw on the
Yeah, it
lawn.
comes out of the city's system, so
Yeah,
it is potable city water.
Drinking water.
As far as the wells, I don't know, in my involvement with the town,
Shane, do you know?
I've never heard that conversation ever brought up and talked about. I know it would not be cheap to initially set it up.
No.
And where are you gonna set the well up to utilize all over? Once again, you're getting into a whole new ballgame now.
Yeah, I don't know if we could even drill like that in town, or do we have regs on that, or do you know?
We don't allow anybody else to. I mean, nobody else be able to drill a well for their own use. The town may, but I don't know if it would be cost effective for the small amount of water we're looking at for the garden to complete an irrigation well. But I don't know, I mean, it's something we could be, I could look into.
If that were to happen, I mean, it would have to be a much larger scale of disposal than just the garden.
Right,
There's
well, I
absolutely
mean, there's a
no way
whole,
that-
mind you, there's
Yeah.
a big massive section that all of that gets watered all on that one meter. But, I mean, Dan even said that gonna be watering trees mainly, just to keep the trees alive down there.
Spot
that-
watering.
Are you guys gonna just like spot water? What's your, or,
We're gonna water, we wanna get those, keep those trees alive
right,
at most cost. As far as the grass grows, or as far as the grass back in there, to start out with, we're gonna start out watering 30 minutes every other day for.
like with the sprinkler systems or like
Yeah,
spot
to
water?
Start out with,
Okay,
but I'll see how that goes. And that'll be late in the evening, obviously. That's kind of where we're gonna hit our parks at.
I think,
the water deep.
I think this is something that we're gonna have an ongoing
It's
discussion
gonna
about.
be, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
we're not gonna be able to make it an absolute
But that's just, like I said, the start.
schedule right now and stick with it.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna have to play that by ear and, you know, keep the conservation top of the list.
Yeah.
And
We-
keep
we
alive
would
what
like
we
to
need
keep those
to.
trees alive.
yeah, for sure.
And actually, if we could put a well in there, we got that whole area down there could be watered with a well.
Yeah, and I
So-
think that's, what is it, 3 acres? 3 acres that we water down there?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
3
on
and a
acres,
half
but
was
yeah,
with, it comes down and around.
Yeah, it's quite.
I ended up mapping it out, so that's where I was just, I think it was,
Yeah,
I think,
I'm just
3
thinking that
acres.
the cost of doing the well would offset the cost of the drinking water, of treating it that you would put on the lawn. Would it offset it over the long haul? That's my question.
I didn't know how much a well would be.
they're not cheap.
Cause
Not
I'm sure to treat the chemical, the water, that's expensive too, so.
Yeah,
But it's the same thing that we're putting on our own gardens, I mean, our own gardens, our own water for every resident that has grass at their house anyway, so it's really no difference. Honestly, it's more, I think, I see more of a cost than a help.
Right.
so,
Okay.
but that's where it was just, I wanted to bring it to you guys about what your thoughts are with, I mean, it wasn't necessarily about like continuing the community garden or not, it was about just necessarily this year because of these waters. I mean, yes, our thing is saying for our lawns, it does not say garden, but I don't know, I'm a firm believer in tightening our belts where it needs to be tightened, and there's a lot more things that could use water. And our seeds will stay good till next year. We haven't bought any plants yet. There's been, other than just gotten some seeds. I don't know, did you order onions?
Yes, I think so.
Well, I'll be happy to,
From Burpees?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if we don't use them, I'll be happy. I'll use them in my garden. I'll just buy them off the city because I've got to order them anyway. So it's not like we're gonna lose out on any money. It's the seeds, and they'll stay good for next year as long as we keep them in a cool, dark place. So that's where mine I wanted to talk about was just really it was our water. Should we have the garden this year? Not necessarily getting rid of the garden, but obviously of having it this year just because of our water trying to conserve as a town. That's one spot that we could drop back and just not even water and do at all. I know that Dan did comment about other different spots where they're gonna be cutting back water quite a bit. But to me, that was one of those ideal places that, yes, we can cut this back completely and not have a
If
spot.
that garden is watered right along with the surrounding,
No,
the garden is watered totally separate?
yes, so it's on the same meter that all of that is on, but it is on its own system. That it's on its own timer, it's got its own lines. That line doesn't hook into the trees at all. So it's not like it's one of those, we just don't turn it on.
Well, here's my thought on that. If we have enough community members that comes forward and is willing to do all the work and including the watering with some guidance from
It
us,
waters, it waters itself.
well, we can change that.
No,
we can set the timing on how much is watered, right?
That's what we do already.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's
Well,
one of
then we
those,
we would control the water.
so,
But I don't want to do it if there's going to be just a small handful of community members that's going to get involved. If we get a big enough membership of community people, I could support it. But if we only have like a dozen that's going to use it and work it, I'd have to be convinced.
so it's not like you can really, you water the garden or you don't water the garden. It's one of those that it's not like you can be like, oh, well, I'm only going to allow you 5 minutes. Well, then nothing's gonna grow and it's gonna die off. So that's where it's
understand.
gonna be that a yes or a no on what we all think of doing it or not. And really, it's one of those, you get a ton of community involvement at the end, not so much at the beginning. So, but that's the way it's been for
That
5 years
doesn't
now.
sound like a community project to me then.
Well, it is at the end,
So,
but it's one of those, and I mean, just trying to get it off and keep it going. But when it was brought to council, to me, when it was brought to me, I was told that this is what the town wanted to do, and we just need a gardener to help get it running. The town is what's going to fund this, is what I was told. And then when we went to the second year to the bigger garden, decided to make it bigger, and so I started that proposal. But even in that proposal, I stated that I know that it was a big cost, this is very upfront because of the garden. But then every year, it wasn't gonna be that much. You're only gonna be buying seeds, plants, and amending the soil. And I mean, that is what it was brought to me. That is what I proposed to this council. And they voted yes on. So that is how it was brought up. So I do think that if we do continue to do it, even if we're not doing it this year, but we should continue to buy the seeds and buy the plants and amend the soil. Because it was, as a town, to do it. I mean, we could look into trying to get people to volunteer, Miracle Grow and stuff like that. But it was brought to the town, as the town would do the seeds, amend the soil and plants. And that's what they voted yes on. And it's even in the minutes.
Phil, you have,
Yeah. What if you just looked at doing like they do at the fairgrounds and out on the end of East Second Street and just let somebody come in and if they want to provide the seed and do all that stuff and just use the garden?
Yeah, and just like
Then
rent it out.
doesn't cost anything, and then you don't have to worry about whether volunteers are gonna show it up. It's their own deal. And if they want to let their seeds and stuff die, then so be it.
but we would have to provide the water.
Yeah, it's
Well,
still,
we could-
well,
We
the-
could figure out a way to meter the water and they'd have to pay for the water.
well, therein is the issue, because a meter in itself is thousands of dollars
Well,
per thing, and that's why, that was one
you
of
could
the
even-
issues.
You could even come up with some kind of an estimate, and work out some kind of a deal with them and say, hey, this is how much it's gonna cost for water for the summer, but I got a feeling when you do that, and then they add in the water costs, they're gonna find out they could probably go to the farmer's market and buy stuff cheaper
Well-
than they could grow it, other than it's their own, but I think if you did something like that where it's completely out of the town's control, other than the water and the actual facility, then you wouldn't have to worry about it, because I'm kind of like you, Alana, I've had experiences with volunteers.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you'll have
I
20
get a
people
lot
that
that say,
show
I'll be
up.
there, and then
you
it's
have
just
20 people and
Yeah.
you're lucky if 5 show up. And
lucky.
and
So,
everybody's got a really good excuse, but.
well,
it's-
and unfortunately, that's kind of how it's been, but it's one of those that I've just got, normally I have enough time that I dedicate to this and doing it, and this year it was one of those that like, I've got a lot of projects going on, And where with this community, I mean, I'm definitely not getting paid for it, but I make it a point that I'm trying to get down there at least once a week. And so that's always in the back of my mind that I'm working on, I'm doing, and, oh, I've got to go do this down there. I've got to check on this, or I've got to extra this to do. And that's always just one more thing. And it's just like, I've got enough big projects that I've got going on this summer that it's like, I need to take another project off my hands that I can work on, and that's going to work for my family and not
Right.
for everybody else's family.
Because we all
So-
kind of know that if we leave that thing vacant for a year, it's not gonna look like much next year.
Well, it'll probably look the exact same. I mean, right now it's gonna have rabbit poop in it and just gonna hang
Well,
out there.
It's gonna be even worse because nobody's touched it for 2 years. And it could be 3 or 4 years, you know, so.
Fred, what do you got?
Fred, yeah,
What kind of a time frame do you have where you have to decide yes water or no water?
Well, and that's why we really want to discuss it. I was the one that brought this up of like, hey, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Just because of,
But
I
I
mean-
mean, do you need to make a decision on turning it on and turning it off in the next 2 weeks? Or is it something that, you know, is there some kind of a time frame that this is the cutoff, we gotta decide?
well, I mean, really planting season.
Middle May.
Well, yeah, I mean, I plant around in May, but I mean, I know a lot of people that'll plant in June because
Okay,
it truly,
It's
Fred, it
variable.
all depends on the weather and what the weather's doing.
What I was
but-
thinking is, sometimes there's been surveys put out on social media about this and that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you get somebody on there that says, oh, I'll do that, and then when it comes time, they're not there.
Oh, yeah.
My suggestion would be, in the next couple days, to go on our town page, either the official town page and or the community one, and ask for a few people, 3 or 4, to form a committee. And then that committee is not under the control of the town, but that committee then could try to establish people who would come and work and help do the labor stuff in the garden. And say, okay, John, you're scheduled in for next Tuesday. Tom, you're scheduled in for Saturday. Sally, you come in on Monday night, you know, and let that committee do that. And then if that doesn't come to fruition, if they can't get people to commit that way, to schedule people to come and work.
Mhm. Maybe that's where I failed. I never scheduled anybody who would be like, hey, when can I come down? I'd be like, you can come down whenever, just come down.
Well,
So that's
and I
where,
think- And I think that may be part of the.
it might be
They say,
just
"Well,
because,
Come down whenever, well. I'll
please
go-
come
I'll go-
down
I'll go, "Wait,
whenever.
I gotta go over here,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
so there's no set schedule. If you have a time when somebody
Yeah.
says, can you work on this on Friday afternoon from 6 to 8?
Yeah.
And then they know that that's the time they're supposed to be there. But I'm just thinking a small committee,
Mm-hmm.
if they can't pull it together to get the volunteers, cut the water off.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
Jeremy?
see, and like, that's my biggest issue is that people want this community garden, but nobody wants to put in the labor to do it. That'd be like me, like complaining about the basketball courts and I never even show up to throw one ball. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense, you know. I think it's a good project. I think it's very helpful for people. It teaches them good skills, but at the end of the day, if everybody's just getting the fruits of the labor and not putting any of the elbow grease to do it, like, it doesn't make any sense.
And if you
Well,
can't get
and-
somebody to form, you know, 3 or 4 people to come together as a committee, then that says the same things. If you can't get a committee, you can't get the water.
Yeah, well, and that's where I think I just wanted to have this open discussion with everybody about it and just talk about it. Cause I mean, really, if we decide not to do the water and we want to tighten the belt, there's no point in doing a committee. And that's why we at least wanted to at least start the discussion about it. Cause it's not like, oh, we have to get this planted by next week. I mean, it's still 20-degree nights and we don't want to plant yet anyways. So you normally don't plant until mid-May to June. But that's where I wanted to at least have these discussions of like, okay, do we even want to turn on the water? Or not necessarily turn on the water, but even do the garden if we're trying to tighten our belts per se and really practice what we're preaching of, hey, let's tighten our belts, let's do this, let's really think about our water consumption and what we're putting out there. I could see our water used in a better way. I mean, that's where mine is with it.
Okay, well, with that, let's complete this discussion. We're not gonna make any decisions on this tonight. I would like to get some feedback from the community and see, like your suggestion, if somebody can form a committee and come forward and show us that they're gonna be serious about this, we will seriously consider it.
Janelle, do we want to have like, because obviously I'll make a post on a couple of the pages, at least on the the one Evansville page. And then where should I have them do? Should I have them say, come down to town hall and sign up? Or how do we want to
Yeah,
do this?
yeah, we could
And
do
just
that,
have
yeah.
like a sign up sheet?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then,
Yeah, and then I can take your post and share it on the Facebook page, and then I can add something to the sign, looking.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
for
great.
Community
yeah, more cute.
volunteers.
Yeah.
For the garden, contact,
Town hall,
yeah.
not
Yeah.
contact me.
So long as they understand the involvement,
Right,
because
yeah.
you're limited on the sign, what you
Right.
can put on the sign.
I mean,
but-
can we put it on our water bill? I guess it's one of those, how fast are we needing our actual decision on that? Are we wanting to give it a couple weeks? I mean, when does our water bill go out?
They won't go out until the first.
Another
of
month.
May.
Another May?
Yeah.
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 Well, I don't know if we want to wait that
Yeah.
long. I'd like to get a decision.
And depending on how wordy we got, because we've already got a second mailing going in with the water bills this month.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing probably is that maybe pushing it too late for
Okay.
that. But yeah, I can put something on the sign.
Yeah, I think doing the sign in general of just, and then if they have more questions, you guys, I mean, they can be answered at the window. I guess it's one of those, a lot of people that are our age are on Facebook and they see it, but a lot of our town is elderly and they're not on Facebook and they're not on all these pages, so they wouldn't know that they need to, but they might be ones that are like, they know how to garden and they would love to do it. So I think putting it something on the sign of needing volunteers for the community garden to head the community garden, or however it needs to be written.
Maybe a notice put up at the post office, since everybody who's in town
Yeah,
has to go get mail, and just make it a something maybe
Piece of
that can
paper?
sit on the counter instead of that cork board. Because nobody looks at the cork board,
nobody looks at the
Right.
but
counter.
everybody's gotta walk by that counter. So maybe it's something like,
don't walk by the.
I don't even look at that counter. Just go to the box. But I mean, that's where it's just I think our main thing coming in of looking for community involvement to head the community garden this year.
And I
Short and
limited
sweet or
on
something.
what I can put on the sign, but I can just put something to the effect of looking for volunteers, for the community garden, contact town hall or something.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just simple, easy. Yeah, okay, that'd be great.
All
That's
right.
where, that was my main, was about the water. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks for all your input.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. That's, I
Shane,
wanted everybody here.
you're front
My
and
turn.
center.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So a few things tonight. Most of them related to the Mesa project, like they usually are the first of the month here. So I have tonight an application for payment number 9 for Wayne Coleman Construction. The total of the application is $159,504.28, and it's for work basically for March. We're holding 5% retainage, so the retainage is $7,975.21. So the amount due for pay request number 9 is $151,529.07, with $7,975.21 being placed in the joint retainage account. So I recommend a motion to have the town pay Wayne Coleman Construction for pay request number 9.
Okay, do I have a motion to pay Wayne Coleman?
All motion.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
So on the same project, I have drawdown request number 9 for reimbursement from the Wyoming Business Council. This is for Wayne Coleman construction pay application number 8 and WLC engineering surveying invoices for the phase 1 construction work and the phase 2 design. So the total of all the invoices is $302,634.75. The grant covers 88%, so the total draw request is $266,319 even. Leaves a total remaining balance on the grant of $5,897,782. So recommend a motion to have the mayor sign and submit drawdown request number 9 to the Wyoming Business Council.
Was that drawdown number 9 or number 8?
Drawdown number 9 for pay request number 8. Drawdown number 9.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
A motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And just to add to that draw request, as you're well aware by now, there's 4 other parties that are participating in the part that the grant doesn't cover for this particular invoice. Those 4 parties are going to be reimbursing the town for $33,441.14. So of that approximately $302,000 invoice, the town's responsible for $2,875.03. So just to kind of reiterate that there's other parties are reimbursing the town as well. So the last thing I have on this project is a change order, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to look through that, but I'll go through it in detail here. So we have change order number 2. Part of the change order just to kind of reconcile the quantities of work completed to date. So they're about 90% through the project, maybe a little bit less, but just kind of take all the quantities. You know, we have all these bid items. Some end up being overrun, some end up being underrun. So just to kind of reconcile those quantities, it ends up being a total increase to the project of $2,077.51. But the bulk of this change order that I wanted you guys to consider tonight, we're recommended modification along Wildcat Road directly in front of 6757 Wildcat. So there's a building there that has 2 loading docks, and our understanding is that they're taking like appliance deliveries come into that building for like Home Depot. They take the appliances in, they get shipped in, and then they actually have some Home Depot trucks sitting there that they actually will go out and make those deliveries around town. And I don't know if it's just for Home Depot, but what we've encountered is it's a lot of truck traffic going. It's right just west of the county fire station, east of the county fire station. And there's just a tremendous amount of semi-truck traffic backing into that warehouse every day. And so what we've been seeing is, especially now that we have curb and gutter in, we've really kind of narrowed. They used to drive off into the shoulders and up against the chain link fence and back these trucks in. Now we have curb and gutter on both sides, and so it's a really tight corner for them to back in. And we're afraid if we go in with the asphalt as we had planned, you know, fresh asphalt and then the middle of the summer and then those really tight turning movements, they're just going to they're going to hurt the asphalt.
Give it a boo-boo.
And so it's just going to be, it can't really be a warranty item to Wayne Coleman Construction. Once it's down and done properly, they can't be responsible for it being tore up. So our recommendation, after seeing what's going on out there, our recommendation is to replace about 150 feet total length in front of that building. Instead of putting in asphalt, put in concrete pavement, thickened concrete pavement, reinforced. That way, I mean, that'll be more resistant to those turning movements, and hopefully, then we wouldn't have a maintenance issue right away. So it ends up being a total increase to the project of $63,180. So it brings the total of the change order amount with those other quantities plus that is $65,947.51. It increases the project cost for Wayne Coleman Construction from $4,432,108.07 to $4,498,055.51. About a 1.5% increase to the project. We're still comfortable that we're within budget. The estimate for this phase of the project when we put the grant together was $4.8 million. So we're roughly at the 4.5. So I still feel comfortable we're within the budget of the grant. And I think it's just something you should really consider tonight. They're looking, they'll be paving probably in the next 4 weeks. So they'd like to get this in the works if we decide to do it tonight. And I do recommend it. We've met with Public Works too, and they're on the same page. It's just gonna be a problem. So. I guess I'll add too. We do, our understanding is that they're gonna be in there for 1 more year. They're working on a new building, in Casper, over by the jail, I believe. They're building a new building to do the same thing and move out there, but they're a year out. The building, even if they do move a year from now, the building's still set up with the 2 loading docks. The use is probably gonna be fairly similar, may not have as much traffic, may have more. But I don't think, even though they're gonna move out in a year, the problem's still probably gonna be there, so.
Well, I think you're absolutely correct that concrete is definitely the way to go there with what you're describing, so. If it's within the budget that was proposed, then I'll call for a motion. Do I have a motion to do the change number 2?
I'll motion for change number 2.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on this?
Yeah, Janelle, I was just curious, is everyone, I know that we are putting that money, is everyone reimbursing us on their,
Yes.
on the scheduled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 4. yeah.
Yes. Okay,
It
just
took
wanted to
a
double
little
check.
while to work the kinks out there, but I think we got a process now.
Just wanted to double check.
Yep.
Then no, I have no more discussion.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then the last thing I have tonight is on the Lathrop Road Pathway Phase 2 project. This project was awarded to Trito Construction a while back. They haven't started yet, but I've got a drawdown request tonight just to get the town reimbursed for WLC's invoices for December and January. So the total of the invoices is $2,831.63. The grant covers 90.49%. So the total draw request is $2,562.34. Leaves a remaining balance on the grant of $591,459.15. So recommend a motion to have the mayor sign and submit drawdown request number 2 for the Lathrop Pathway project.
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor for Lathrop Road Pathway Phase number 2, draw request number 2.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Do you know when they're gonna start that? As soon as weather permits?
I would say it's still probably 2 to 3 weeks out.
Oh, okay.
They do have a completion of the end of June, I believe, so they're gonna have to get after it. So we do have liquidated damages if needed, but hopefully they can get in there. It should be a pretty straightforward project. There's not a lot to work around. It should go fast once they get in there, but we had a pre-construction meeting, about 6 weeks ago and just they haven't moved in yet. So we'll kind of try to keep you informed when I know more, but I think when they do move in, they'll start to move pretty quick.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, with that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Scott, I got a quick question for you. What, did you guys ever happen to get another opinion on with that water and then the water eroding
Yeah.
that
Shane?
spots out?
I haven't yet. I mean, I do. I'm working with ISCO for another price and I haven't heard back from them. So I can follow up with they met me out there and they're
Culvert,
getting
that
me a
is the word I
number.
was trying to say,
But
culvert.
yeah, I think it's still pretty important if we can get that culvert replaced at least. So
Yeah.
I'll follow up with them. It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks, I think, since I met with them and I haven't heard anything yet. So,
Thank you.
yep.
Okay,
That's all.
that's all?
That's it.
Do I have a motion to accept the engineer's report?
I move.
I'll second.
Got a motion and second for the engineer's report. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So I have a motion for adjournment.
I'll motion.
My second.
I have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned at 8:37 PM on Monday the
Tuesday and all my
13th.
goodies.
Monday the 13th, which is considerably worse than Friday.
Yeah.
Friday, you have a weekend